Yo, what's up, what's up, what's up? This is Street Smart Sarge here with another Virginia's Gangster Files. Yeah, on Greedy Tycoon Media channel. Today's gangster is going to be Salvatore Catione. Yes, y'all, I caught a mob story on this one. A real mob story. DC mob to be exact. Yeah, y'all. You know I get in the field with this. So yeah, y'all. I want to thank all the supporters. I want to thank y'all for coming back. And this is a good story right here. You know what I'm saying? And real mafioso shit. You know what I'm saying? Homeboy, he was a smooth criminal. So let's get into this story about Salvatore Catione. Street Smart Sarge here, Greedy Tycoon Media. Let's go. Compared to New York's Lucky Luke, Chi-Town's Al Capone, DC has Salvatore Catione. Salvatore Catione was born in Sicily, 1947. He came to the U.S. a little before his 20th born day. He worked as a dishwasher in a restaurant in New Jersey. His passion to be successful, working his way from immigrant to owner. When Catione came to DC with his two brothers in the mid-1970s, he opened a couple of pizza shops, including a Pizza Delight. This was a full-service establishment. I mean, you can get anything from cocaine, heroin, women, full service. You name it, they had it. Cigars, all full service. Now, Giuseppe was Catione's younger brother. He was very ambitious, liked fast motorcycles and ritzy cars. His job was the narcotics distribution. Catione and his associates had to compete with the top of food chains in the restaurant business. So in 1978, Catione went through and burned down his competition. The drugs profits helped, but the top tier competition would stand in the way of progress. So Catione would use fires as a way of making money also. Even though he set fire to one establishment, that would not be his last. Catione was going to move forward with the expansions of his restaurants, his pizza parlors. So Bachelor's 2 was another restaurant where he hired the butcher, his usual go-to guy, and he hired him to fill up bottles of gasoline, of Coca-Cola bottles, and to set the place afire. So once the place went up in flames, he did this so that the guy could get insurance money. And, that's basically, it was an insurance scam. He got part of the money, of course. And, he was always on some, what do you want to call it? Basically just some illegals, activity. He just had a lot of illegal activities going on. And this was in the 70s. So, in the 80s, early 80s, he moved to Virginia Beach, and he really didn't have to, but he wanted to expand his, I guess you could say, his parlors, his pizza parlors. He wanted to expand his business, so he expanded down to Virginia Beach, and he had pizza parlors. That's where he lived, in Virginia Beach, but he had pizza parlors in Norfolk, and one was called Michelangelo's, and the other was called Little Italy. Yes, the pizza parlor business was booming for him, and yes, he was still making money with the drugs. So he eventually got hot, and he knew he was hot. His businesses that he already owned, the three pizza parlors. The one was in the district, the one was in Virginia, and the one that was at the Springfield Mall in Fairfax, Virginia. That's the one that he had a partner with, and his name was Anthony Caggiano. And Anthony Caggiano was his partner until the relationship fell sour behind Cotillon owing him money. So Cotillon hired the butcher to put him on ice. You know what I'm saying? And to put him on ice means he contract killed him, and that was the end of their business. After that, Cotillon, he had to leave the area because he was hot. I'm telling you. So that's why he was in Virginia Beach, to try to get some of that heat off of him. So he, like I said, while he was there, this is during the time when his brother also got locked up. So to help his brother, Cotillon would talk to this agent named Glass. Now, Glass was a 14-year veteran for the FBI, and he came out from behind the desk to take on this case. And the case that his brother was involved in was called the Pizza Connection. So Glass, knew of his brother, and so he knew that his brother isn't where the Pizza Connection stopped. So to keep it going, the Pizza Connection was an operation that made like $1 billion over a 10-year span. $1.6 billion over a 10-year span. Now, that was dealing with the Colombians, and the mob. Now, back to the story. Glass was the guy that brought in his brother. So Cotillon thought that he could manipulate Glass and tell him stories of criminals that could help him or help his brother, get out from under that life sentence and all that time. So he would meet up with Glass, secret agent Glass from the government, and give him information like it was a Greek guy who handled sizable shares of the district's drug trade. He was telling them about a man marketing a catchy, stolen American arms. There was a former Manassas plumber who had a boat on the Potomac and a home in Florida, and a penchant for huge drug deals. Cotillon also told Glass that he was friends with Polio Gambino. At the time, was number 2 in the powerful Gambino Mafia family. Cotillon, while this was going on, like I said, he moved to Virginia Beach. Now his brother, like I said, got locked up in '86. So while he was in Virginia Beach, he expanded his criminal network in the Tidewater area, distributing cocaine. John W. Brown III was a special agent that brought drugs and arrested 25 people in the Washington area. And this was in January of 1987, not long after his brother, was locked up. Cartion was not one of them. Glass had a plan to use the butcher with a wire to catch Cartion accepting info on the whereabouts of LaFranco Casali. He was the one that set his little brother Giuseppe Cartion up and ID'd Salvatore as the boss of the Cartion family. But he knew it was too good to be true. So Cartion, didn't, pay for the information. He brushed it off. So Glass found a friend of Cartion. His name was Valencio Hagengen. In September 1988, Hagengen struck a deal for $5,000 in a drug connection to off Casali. On October 88, Hagengen showed proof with a bloody body picture and his favorite medallion. Glass had to wait 10 months for the federal grand jury to execute a warrant for the arrest of Salvatore Cartion. In August of 1989, Glass walked into Cartion's home in Virginia Beach and arrested Cartion, his other brother, Pietro, and Battista Perron. On March 26, 1990, Salvatore Cartion was sentenced to 20 years in the federal prison. He was released February 2007. Yeah. Well, that wraps up the story of Salvatore Cartion. If you, want to get more information on Salvatore, you can actually, look him up. He's online. All the information I get be online. I'd like to thank you for the support. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for coming back. Appreciate all the support and all the love. And thanks again. This is Street Smart Sarge with GREEDYTYCOON Media Group. And I'm out. Holla. Hit me up. Street Smart Sarge.